Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Crystal coming at you today with another video. In today's video, I really just wanted to discuss like this season of Insecure. I feel like it's necessary to talk about. Before I get into that, I do want to touch on, topics of today, which, have to do with racism, social injustice, police brutality. There have been many times where I have, seen things happen to people I know. One being my husband, which really hits close to home. And I definitely feel like this is a time that we need to continue to go out and support the Black Lives Matter movement. I also believe that it's time for us to really start educating ourselves on politics, to start educating ourselves on laws, to start really involving ourselves in those things so that when we're going out here, we can give, on top of the, physical protests and things like that, we're also giving the knowledge and we're learning things that they ultimately don't want us to learn. So I am not against anything that's going on as far as the marches, as far as the looting that was going on, that so many people had a problem with material things being taken that could be replaced. I am just honestly glad in a sense that nobody has taken us to the point where we're trying to actually get revenge. At this point, we just want retribution for all the unfair things that have been happening to us. But if there was a need for revenge, a lot of things would be going on right now that would make everything going on today take it to a whole different level. So with that being said, you guys, if you can support the Black Lives Matter, whether you are a Black person or someone that is not Black, it's essential that everybody is treated fairly. I shouldn't be treated unfairly because of the color of my skin. My son should not be treated unfairly because of the color of his skin. And my husband, my father, my nephew, my uncles, nobody, friends, we get to a point where we're just kind of tired of it. Have I experienced blatant racism before? No, but I have experienced ignorance from people that aren't Black. I've experienced smart comments from people that aren't Black, and just them saying things to make me feel like I should change my appearance. That's something that is culturally accepted for Black people. Is not accepted around them. That I look better with this color hair as opposed to this, or I look better this way. And you guys will see throughout my YouTube career, or just me in general, I will have on a wig one minute, I will have my natural hair another minute, I'll have braids another minute. And that's because at this point I'm just comfortable with whatever I choose to wear. Whoever, and the thing about me, I'm a Gemini, and I kind of joke about it. It's whoever I choose to be today, that's who I'm going to be. But the reality is I'm just me, and I just like doing different things. With all that being said, I just want you guys to really, continue to love yourselves and all of your Blackness. People that aren't Black, just continue to fight this fight, because like they say, nobody is really free until everybody is free. And if you are okay with living in a world where you can get things that you want, but everybody is oppressed around you, or you are allowed to step on people to get what you want, that just makes me look at you completely different. So, you guys, once again, there are many resources you can reach out to. There are many places you can donate to. And if you can't donate, if you don't have the money, there are many ways that you can just spread the word And by spreading the word, you can also really learn to educate yourself, because ultimately education is what gets us ahead. Knowing things, understanding different systems, and understanding the ways around them. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick, you guys, before I started even talking about this whole insecure thing, to say, you know, something's got to give. We're getting some type of change, and I just pray that things continue to progress positively from everything that's going on. So with all that being said, I'm going to talk about insecure today, and I really wanted to talk about it because every time insecure comes on, me and my husband always get into these like big debates, and I think it's really funny because I'm coming at it from, of course, a woman's standpoint, and he's coming at it from a man's standpoint. And the funny thing is, me and my husband actually started watching the show together when it first came out. So we have been fans ever since. You know, we make it a habit to watch it together. Like, we don't watch it without each other. And we have done that since Insecure has been on. This season has really been a topic for discussion for a lot of people. I have seen so many people battling between whether they're Team Molly or Team Issa. Before I get into this, you guys, right now, comment whether you are Team Molly or Team Issa. Because I just have to know. Like, I have to know, and just put like why. But this season, it's been really easy to see the difference in opinions between both, to see the different sides between both. But then when you get to this last episode, it really hit home for me, because you know how you have friendships for so long and you get caught into these roles that you play in a friendship. You know, you've been friends with this person for years, and this person is this way, and then you're this way. And because you have identified that this is how you guys are in this relationship, you continue to do this for years and years and years. But the problem is when the roles change because of growth, because of wisdom, because of age, because of life experiences, some don't know how to handle it. And so I think in this situation, Issa is just now getting to figure out who she is after years of having friends that know what they're doing, that have their careers mapped out, and she is just now figuring out who she is. And you have Molly, who is successful, has all this money, is very strong and dominant, you know, all of these different things, and very much an alpha female. And so when it came to this whole thing about the, you know, block party thing that Issa threw, and how she definitely overstepped her boundaries when reaching out to Nathan, to reach out to Andrew to get, you know, a performer for a street party after Molly said she didn't want her to do that. I definitely feel like Issa was wrong for that. I also feel like Molly was wrong for addressing her in the way that she did and in the manner that she did at Issa's block party. There comes a time where, you know, two things can be valid at the same time. You know, two people can have two different feelings at the same time. One person doesn't have to be all the way right, and one person doesn't have to be all the way wrong. Like, two people can be right and wrong at the same time. And so when Molly originally told Issa that she didn't want to help her, I feel like Issa just felt like it was a slap in the face. It was just like, all of these years I have been working to get to a point where I can really do something that I'm proud of, and instead of you helping me, you're talking about, oh, I don't want to, I don't think I should ask him, because, you know, basically because she didn't want their relationship to be based off favors, or she just didn't want to go out and ask him that because of where they were in that moment in their relationship. Completely understand that. But as a friend, I know Issa felt like it's just like, girl, I have been working my butt off. You have even made fun of me for not knowing what I want to do, and I'm like really sure about this, and I've been putting my all into it, and I know I asked you for help, but this is something that really you see, you know, you see everything going into it. So I really understood Issa with that, but I also understood Molly. So then when you got into that part where they're almost fighting and everything, and then, you know, the next few episodes where Molly goes off to do her thing with her man, and then Issa goes off to really just explore herself and everything, I really was happy for both of them because I feel like they hadn't found themselves without each other. So that part of their journey was necessary for them both to grow. Molly has never been in a relationship. Molly, I mean, and if she was, they were like some basically dysfunctional relationships. Issa has had relationships before. She's always, you know, talking to somebody, but she has never found out who she is and what she wants to do in life. So when it came to that, like, I was really happy that they both just were doing something without each other. And, you know, when you get to this episode, I'm going to skip all the stuff about Issa and Lawrence and everything because I'm just focusing strictly on the friendship between Molly and Issa. But when we get to this episode, I completely disagree with the way that Molly handled things. And here's why. So you have Issa who, you know, through the past few episodes, she was not trying to reach out to Molly. She was like, I'm not reaching out. She did this. I'm not apologizing. But at a certain point in time, she was just like, you know, like, this is my best friend. Like, I love her. I miss her. I'm going to reach out. While Molly still has like this stank attitude going on. Even though Molly is attempting to get help from her therapist, it's still like she's going to have this stank attitude and not reach out to Issa. So when Issa decides to reach out to her, I think that was a big step on her behalf, especially taking her out to brunch, you know, initiating the entire conversation and paying for lunch. It was just like, you know, like, I know we had this big argument, but I just want you to know that I love you. And, you know, I know you feel like I use you, but I'm going to pay for dinner this time around. I mean, or brunch or whatever. I'm going to pay for it this time around. Like, I may not have as much money as you, but I don't ever want you to feel like I'm using you. And I feel like Issa just was trying so hard, and Molly was just like sitting there like, I'm gonna oblige with this conversation, but it's fake, and I'm just gonna sit here and then go home and talk to my boyfriend about it and say, oh, it was just so fake, instead of saying it then and there. So she's still holding on to this stubborn mentality, like, well, if she doesn't say anything, I'm not gonna say anything. And I just felt like she was wrong for that, because I was just like, at some point as a grown woman, you have to understand that everything isn't somebody else's fault. Issa had her screw up in the situation, and she was trying to extend an olive branch. She was trying to make things better, and you did not try at all. It's just like, well, I showed up. And it was like, but you didn't initiate anything. You didn't even come out and say, look, I'm glad you invited me here. I'm not all the way there with you at this time. And before we get to any reminiscing memories and this and that, we really need to discuss what happened, because I am not rocking with you for that. And that would have opened a conversation. But you can even tell, like, if it was bothering Molly so much and she didn't say anything about it. But with Issa, it was like when she talked to Lawrence after they, you know, met up and everything, she was just strictly thinking about, I'm glad I got to sit down with my friend. Nothing in her mind. You can tell how genuine it was when she was talking to him, but she was just like, I'm just glad I got to sit down with her. Like, I missed her. I think it went really well. And meanwhile, Molly, on the other hand, is like, yeah, it was this, and I don't want to do this, and it was fake, and da-da-da. And Andrew was like, why didn't you say that? Because she didn't want to talk about it. Like, it's just so childish to me. And I feel like Molly really needs to work on that, and holding grudges and always thinking she's right about everything. Later on in the episode, where Issa and Nathan ended up going to Andrew's house to get the rest of Nathan's stuff, and you know, like, Issa knew it was like, okay, Molly's here. I know that we just met up the other day, but I don't want to make her uncomfortable. Issa is always like walking on eggshells, because she's like, I know we'll get back there, but I don't want to make you uncomfortable. And so she's moving at Molly's pace. And Molly is just being like she's just being like just stubborn for no reason. And it's just like Andrew has to kind of make her be like, oh, come on, like it's Issa, let them stay, let them, you know, let's talk, let's drink or whatever. So Molly's like, yeah, okay, they can stay. And so as the night progresses, they're having fun and everything, and Molly is like obliging by, you know, entertaining like memory conversations. And Molly seems like, if you aren't looking at an actual TV show, and if you were in Issa's spot in the situation, you would think like, you know, like, I know things aren't the same, but they'll get back there, like, you know, she's happy, she's talking, we're talking about memory lane and everything. And, you know, they get to the point where they're playing that whole guess the height game or whatever, and Andrew walks away, and then Molly texts Andrew and says, see, I'm trying with her, and accidentally sends that to Issa. And then Issa just sits there like, you know, okay, like, you sent that to me by mistake, and I'm going to go ahead and leave, because at that point Molly was being super fake, and the only reason why she was even entertaining Issa was because that's what Andrew wanted her to do, and that was really, really fake. And for her to, you know, run out after Issa, I didn't mean to send that to you. Like, well, clearly, you know, you didn't mean to send that to me, but, you know, why are you acting like that? Why are you acting like I'm the worst person in the world, basically? And she's just like, well, you're like not talking about anything that actually has substance. You're not bringing up what happened. And she's like, okay, if you want to do that, let's do that. But she didn't know how to initiate that, because clearly Molly was more upset than Issa. And Molly knew that she was more upset than Issa, but she still was looking for Issa to say something. And so Issa is mature, and she's like, okay, well, let's just talk about it. Like, let's talk about the block party, because that's what you want to talk about. That's not just it. That's not just it. And Molly comes out and says, basically, they're on two different paths in life, and they basically don't fit each other's life anymore. And at that point, Issa was just like, okay. And Molly's looking like confused, like, okay. And it's like, what did you want Issa to say? At that point, you basically told her you do not want this friendship anymore. What did you expect Issa to say? Like, and I think Molly really expected Issa to beg and be like, please, let's just try, like, I'm sorry, because that is the type of person that Molly is. And the thing that I feel is that if Molly did not have Andrew, Molly would have tried to work it out with Issa. But because she's now in a relationship with Andrew, and she has kind of someone to fill that void that Issa always filled, she's like, oh, I don't need Issa. And I feel like that's really messed up, because you basically aren't, I don't think that you necessarily don't want to be friends with Issa. I just think that Andrew is just filling the void that you had. So you didn't have Issa, and Andrew filled it, and it's like, oh, I don't need her. But the thing is, if something happens with you and Andrew, I'm pretty sure you would go back to her and say, I'm sorry, because you need somebody there to do what he or Issa was doing. And, you know, like, I just feel like, if you can't already tell, I have been Team Issa the whole time, because it's just like, I think Issa knows that she's that friend that, you know, I don't ever have any money to do what you guys want to do, and I'm still trying to figure it out, but I love you guys anyway for rocking with me, and when I can do more for you guys, I will. I know I'm the needy friend, you know, I need this and this and that, but when I get to that point, you guys are going to be the first ones to see, like, everything that I've been working on, and you guys are going to be the first ones that I really, you know, like, say thank you to and just really appreciate for that. And it's just like, Molly just got to a point where she was like, I'm tired of you using me and this and that, and she didn't really see where Issa was trying to go. Especially like when you have artsy friends, you guys, when you have the artistic friend that doesn't really know what they want to do, and they may be like, 1 minute I want to do this, or I want to do this, or I really don't have stuff figured out. You know, you kind of like have to be more patient with them, because they're artists and they have to navigate through this space. And Molly is just like, you know, you understand you've never been in a relationship before, that's fine, but you weren't really communicating that with your friend. You always have to be a know-it-all. You always have to feel like you're wiser than everybody, you know everything, and you're better than this, and you do this and you do that. But it's just like, you know, in this situation with Issa, it's just like you were so quick to give up over something like that. And I was just like, maybe, you know, it is the growing pains of a friendship, but it's just like, you really want to be right so bad that you're willing to give up a genuinely good friendship. And I think a lot of us experience that today, a lot of women, because my husband was just like, he's looking at this as a male point of view, and I have to always like give him different examples, because it's just like, when females build relationships, it is very easy for us to build relationships. But when we have long-term friends that, you know, we met in high school, we met in college, and we really look at them as like our sisters, when things like this happen, it really hurts a lot. And, you know, he's just like, I mean, I don't see why these two just don't like just chuck it up, go get drinks and this and this and that. It's just like, when women get into relationships, it's always, you always have some women that are able to be in relationships and still hold friendships. Some women will completely disregard their friends just to be in that relationship. And if it works out, that's great. And if it doesn't, they go running back to their friends. You have some women that are so focused on their careers that they forget about their friends. And you have some women that, you know, it's just women that are just different. But the way that we handle stuff is mostly based off emotion, which is what you see with Molly and Issa. And I'm saying all this to say, clearly, like, this hits home for me, because I feel like I'm not the only one that has experienced this before. But I just feel like, as you know, this show has really started different conversations, but just understanding how to have functional relationships. And it's not just, you don't have to just work to have a romantic relationship. You have to do the work to maintain friendships, you guys. You have to talk. You have to have uncomfortable conversations. And the same way, you know, you may get married and have a boyfriend, and as you guys get older, some things may change, and, you know, growth may happen, and this is not the person that I thought they would be, because things change. But you handle it the same way you handle any type of relationship, romantic relationship or whatever. It's just like, we have to do the work to repair this. And, you know, if one person is only willing to do that, much like a romantic relationship, if one spouse is willing to do the work and the other one isn't, the relationship isn't going to work. So you guys, like, I feel like, I know I missed like a whole bunch of stuff in this, talking about insecure, but just comment down below on, like I said, whose team are you on, Team Molly or Team Issa? It's only one more episode left this season, and why? And like, have you guys ever experienced anything like this with your friendship or anything? And yeah, I am so glad I got to talk about this with someone other than my husband. It just like made me a little more relieved. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.